It's claimed to be the fastest bike. How fast can you go on flats on this bike? And Hambini's bottom bracket. Hambini might be watching this video.
Hambini.
Anything
Hello,
to tell
Hambini.
him? Anything to tell him? Feedback about his bottom brackets.
It's fucking.
I've never had a car pass by here before.
Well, I mean, you have a first thing for first bike in Singapore.
You might be the only one here with this bike.
Yes.
Matt, thanks for coming on to the show. Sorry we had to postpone this the last time because it's monsoon season here in Singapore.
Correct, yes.
Thanks again for coming. You've got... Okay, I think this is probably the most wackiest bike that I've had on my channel. It's not an SL7, it's not a giant TCR.
No.
So tell us more about this bike. What do you have here for us?
Today I have here the Ribble Ultra SL R, and it is one of the aerodynamically engineered bike in my perspective. As well, I got this bike from the UK, and so I asked the Ribble that if they could just purchase the frame. So this frame is actually a small frame. My size is 170, and my size is for me about 177 cm tall. When I first heard about this bike, I was searching for a new aero bike, as I had previously was on the Giant Advanced Propel 2, and so that was my first aero bike I got in Singapore, and I decided to upgrade it from there.
Okay, how long have you been cycling?
I've been cycling almost most of my life. However, I got into road cycling beginning of this year.
Oh, so you're pretty new.
I'm fresh out the box, yes.
So the Giant Propel, then the Ribble.
The Ribble, correct.
Why a Ribble?
Why a Ribble? I feel that it's unique in the sense that I mean, by the frame itself speaks, its uniqueness, and I was very tech savvy in the sense that I wanted to be having an aerodynamically engineered bike. So let's say when I first got my Giant Propel Advanced 2, I kind of liked the aerodynamically part of it, and I was having a good feel for it. So when I did read up about the Ribble, that was definitely screaming a huge upgrade for me.
Tell us more about the buying process, because I know you can't get it here in Singapore. Probably you're the only one in Singapore with this bike.
I hope I am. I mean, I don't want to actually claim for myself, but if I am able to, then I'll be the first.
Yeah. So you got it directly from the UK.
Yes. When I first wanted to grab the bike, I wanted to have a look at it in first person. So I called Ribble on the video.
You called them?
Yes, I called them. So when you actually, on the website, you can actually live them.
Oh.
And they have a video camera to show you the bike itself.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, so which I think it is a very good point for overseas buyers. And so I asked them, could I get a frame itself? And they said yes, and it would take about 4 months to complete. And then I got a forwarder. It's called Forward VIA, and they came to pick it up the bike. And after that, I asked specifically to wrap up the frame real well, so nothing will happen on traveling to Singapore. And then from there, I had FedEx pick it up and send it over to my office.
So it takes about 5 months or 4?
4 to 5 months, 4.5 months actually.
And you have to pay up front?
Pay up front, correct.
The full amount?
Full amount for the frame, and then for your delivery services, you got your tax and you got your GST.
Okay. What's the price like on this frame?
For this frame, it's about $7,899.
including all forms of other expenses.
Oh, that's excluding GST and shipping tax. Yes.
How is GST calculated like over here?
I'm not entirely so sure, but I think it's by weight. So I paid about $499 for delivery for the shipping as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So then, this is what size is this?
This size is a small size. So this is about 170.
So when you call Ribble up, do you get advice on what kind of frames that will suit you?
No, I had to go and look at the geometry of it on the website itself, and also I did compare my Giant's geometry to on a website
Okay.
to Ribble. Yeah.
So is this the size for you?
For me,
Sorry,
if you
I think it's so loud.
okay, so for me, I'm actually a medium. But however, I feel that for me, I don't have a longer legs. I have more of a shorter legs and a tall body, and small seems to fit my preference. Yeah.
And could you run us through the entire group, the entire build that you have here,
Okay, so
and
for
the reason behind it? Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
For the Groupset, I have a semi-compact 52-36 teeth, and then I have the crank length is 170 mm.
12-speed Ultegra, right?
12-speed Ultegra Di2, yes. And for the cassette size is 1130. The reason why I got the compact is that I wanted to have some play with the gears. Like for flats and for climbing. The wheel set I have here is the Princeton Carbon Works Peak 4550 with the white industry hub. Of course, I also have your dear Hambini ball bearing.
Oh, bottom bracket for
BSA,
Hambini.
yes.
Okay.
And the saddle is the Physics, I think Evo R1.
Okay.
Yes.
Right, so I think it's pretty standard in terms of group set, wheel set. Maybe I'll just pick out some of the main highlights. So just from the group set, you have these absolute black OSPW.
Yes. I mean, I did watch your Hambini interview with him when he did roast about oversized pulley wheels.
Yeah.
I do agree with him to a point of that, yes, you are paying for overpriced aesthetics, and the gains are not that much. However, I feel that it completes the look.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would say that the OSPW is mainly for looks.
Yes, correct. It's like, having a sports car with a spoiler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you have the Princeton Carbon Wake, is it?
Wait, Peak.
Peak.
Yes.
4550.
Yeah.
Why 4550 and not the other one, which is the much more deeper ones?
For me, when I was having my Giant, I was on a small wheel set. So I was very comfortable with this wheel set rather than having a deep dish. Yeah.
Okay, and you paired it with White Industries.
White Industries, I think it's good to. It's quite robust, and it's also kind of bulletproof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have to service as much as other hubs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Hambini's bottom bracket. Hambini might be watching this video.
Hambini.
Anything
Hello,
to tell
Hambini.
Anything to tell him? Feedback about his bottom brackets.
It's fucking good.
It's really good.
It's good. I mean, it's stiff. Its tolerance is really high. No creaking. So hats off to you, Hambini.
There's like some construction downstairs. Oh man.
Yeah.
Shit.
So hats off to you, Hambini. Thank you so much for making wicked ass sick bottom bracket. I really enjoy the feel of when I transmission to power. So I mean, honestly, Hambini has done a very good job engineering this part. Yeah.
But what bottom bracket comes with the frame, or it doesn't come with any bottom bracket?
It didn't come in, but it's actually a threaded bottom bracket itself.
Okay.
So that's what I think one of the Ribble's solutions for home bikers. You know, when they had to do the DIY projects. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the frame, because I think this is the interesting one, right? So I think I watched one of Hambini's video that he roasted about this frame. Before I came here, I didn't have time to watch the whole video. I watched the first 10 minutes of it. So I think some key points that he highlighted was, I think he said the fork is very chunky, which is good for aerodynamics. I'm not an engineer in any sense, so I have no idea. And also the fact that the front tire is very close to the down tube.
Correct.
And also the rear tire is close to the rear seat post, seat tube.
Hambini fans, and welcome to another episode. There's small clearance between the front tyre and the down tube, so that's good. Also small clearance round the rear tyre and the seat tube. The drop rear stays. Now there's a bit of contention over whether that's aerodynamic or not. And then look at this. Look at the void. The publicity shot with a void there. You can quite clearly see the void.
What's your thought about this frame? Do you think it's one of the fastest bikes? How does it feel riding it?
So I would say that it feels like a time machine, BMT time machine, and it's very planted. This is one of the stiffest bikes I've ever ridden, but however, you don't really feel the stiffness at all until you're mostly going through like wavy roads. When you power up, it actually sails you through the speeds. So from 0 to 35, you're able to get your speed faster than most of my experience on bikes. And I think for maintaining speed, it really does its job.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, what is the weight? It looks like a very heavy bike.
The weight, yes, it's about 1,050 grams.
Just for the frame, right?
Just for the frame itself.
What about the whole bike?
The whole bike itself is about 8.5 kg.
It's heavy, man.
It is heavy, but I mean, it's lighter than the previous aero bikes. I mean, like your 9 kg bikes.
So Ribble do they have other models, or is this the only one that they have?
They have the endurance. They have the time trial, and I think I read about I'm not too sure, but I think that's the only two I know so far. Yeah.
Okay. How's the customer service like with Ribble? I know they had like a face-to-face online consultation with you. And how's warranty like?
Warranty, I think, is about 1 to 2 years. But since we're in Singapore, I can't really say about warranty over here. I might have to, if anything happens to the bike, I might have to send it back, which I hopefully don't wish that would happen. And I think I lost track of the question again.
How's customer service?
Customer service. Yeah. Okay, customer service is fantastic. They do tell you like the high points of the bike. I don't think they tell you what the low points are, but we'll get to that afterwards, I guess. Yeah. And then they're very friendly towards international buyers. I mean, they also want to spread their bikes around the world. Yeah.
You wanted to talk about the low points.
Yes.
Let's just go straight into it.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So the lower point for me, I think that this it's not a very reactive bike as like your SL7s, your SL6.
Is it because it's heavy?
It's heavy, yes. But that's the point of being aero. You really just go straight, technically. So that's one thing I in my opinion, that I envy of other bikes. They're having that flexibility. But other than that, that's the only point that I feel which is a downside.
The handlebar itself is also very funky, like a very chunky on the tops here.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's also probably for aerodynamics, and you can't wrap any bar tape here. So for my viewers who can't see, it's actually like sandpaper like over here. You're not meant to put any bar tape, right?
I mean, you have the ability to, and but of course Ribble has made this to not have any bar tapes at all whatsoever.
So it's not slippery, it's fine?
It's when it's wet, it's actually grippy. So I found it when I was riding in wet weather, I had no issues of slipperiness. But I mean, if you want to put on bar tape, by all means put on bar tape.
What's the dimensions like on this handlebar? Is it 40?
It's about 40, yeah. So from hood to hood, it's about 36, but from the whole handle to handle, it's 40.
Okay. Do you get an option to choose the size?
You do.
Okay.
You get to choose like 33, 36, and then you have, I think there's one above, but I kind of forgot about that one.
Okay, and it's in combination with this one piece stem.
Yes, it's a whole piece itself.
This 10 centimeters or?
This is about, I think about 10 around there, yeah.
Okay. I think there's a lot of Instagram questions. I don't want to ask that. I'll let people ask. I give them a chance to flash that question. But okay, so you also have Asioma power meters, right?
The Asoma Duo Shimano.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Anything that you want to talk about?
I think also the selling point of the Ribble for them is the weight generators, as you can see on the handlebar, where it actually pushes down the air towards the knees, and where you see from the down tube, it bulges out from the water bottle. It actually cuts through the air with a water bottle. So it's engineered to have a water bottle to make it more aerodynamic.
Would you get those aero bottles?
Aero gains?
Those bottles that look very aero and slim.
I didn't think about that, but I think for Ribble they did say they wanted to have a majority of people who don't have aero bottles, so they specifically engineer for rounded bottles.
Now we move on to the Instagram Q&A. If you guys want to ask your questions, you can follow me on Instagram and you guys will get the chance to submit your questions for the next interview. Matt, we've got a lot of questions on this bike.
Oh gosh, okay, let's go.
The first question, you probably answered a part of it, but the question the user would like to know, he says, I understand you cannot ship the bike directly off Ribble.
Yeah. So
how did you import the bike? You said you had to go through a forwarder, right?
Yes. So I did it from a company called Forward VIA. They help you actually put the bike if you feel that you're not ready to receive it yet. But they also have a 10-day free storage. However, when I first found out about them, I was importing like snacks from the UK, and their services was quite well received. And for the services, I think they did a very good job when I did say, please help me wrap the bike, protect it, add extra protection, bubble wrap it, give it your rice protections and all that stuff. Those funky, what do you call it? Peanuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, peanuts.
Okay.
And they did a wonderful job with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a car that wants to come through.
Oh my gosh. Is this the first on your channel?
Yes, probably. This is the first time after 116 episodes. I have never had a car pass by here before.
Well, I mean, you have a first thing for a first bike in Singapore. Oh my gosh.
I feel sorry for the guy. I shouldn't be here. Okay, the next question.
Yes.
Can you really feel the difference when when the handlebar is channeling air away from your legs, is it meant to channel air away from your legs?
Actually, it channels towards. However, you don't really feel so much unless you're hammering down. So when you hammer down, you actually do feel a little bit of the pressure from the wind down to from your knees. So let's say when I'm actually going down on a down slope, you actually feel it on like the inner thighs. But then once it gets there, it just goes through the down tube and then out. So you do feel it kind of, but however, if you're on flats, you're mostly like pedaling, so you don't really feel it as much.
How does it climb?
Oh my gosh. I did build this bike to have fun on climbs. I mean, it's an aerodynamic bike, but climbing for me, it is a bit of a challenge because when you're going up, I don't have that much power. I don't feel that having that much power when I'm going up, so I need to add a little bit more effort than your typical bike.
This is the Physique, which model again?
Evo R1.
Okay, the question is, does your ass hurt since this is such a narrow saddle?
I mean, I have a huge ass badonkadonk, and if you don't know what badonkadonk, it means an ass. So for me, I don't get hurt as much, but over time, let's say doing a long ride, I do feel on the sides of my ass. So yes and no.
Why the long nose and not the short nose?
I feel for the short nose, actually, previously I did have a specialized power mirror. I wasn't so used to getting on to that one as when I had the stock from the Giant, it was a longer nose. I felt when I was trying to get on the bike, I had to scoop my ass a bit more rather than having a long nose. So when I have a long nose, I don't have to go further than I would normally have to.
It's claimed to be the fastest bike. How fast can you go on flats on this bike?
Fun question, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I go on flats, when I power up, I can at least go about 52. I mean, on days I have legs, I can go 60. And when I have no legs at all, then it hits to be about at least touching 40 if I'm like completely dead.
Is this the end game for you, or do you think you'll get another bike?
I mean, end game is such a tough word, but for me, I think my next bike, I would go for an endurance bike.
Endurance? Why?
Yeah. So then I can actually play around with a very reactive bike, and I can go on climbs better. So like when I'm riding with my group, I'm actually not on an aerodynamic bike where it is a challenge to ride up hills, especially Mount Faber. Yeah.
Okay, I would say 99% of the questions were, how did you get this bike here in Singapore? So you might be the only one here with this bike.
Yes!
So I'm going to ask the last question.
Okay, for sure.
This guy says, the color is giving me a headache. Why this color? I know this was the poster color when they came out, right? Do they have any other colors?
You are able to do your own customized color, like you're able to choose from a wide variety of colors. For me personally, I was talking with Francis, who you recently had. I mean, for a while you had him on the show. We were discussing what gradients, what color combos, but ultimately we decided on the original color. So this color is actually called Spectrum Gray. Personally, I call it Unicorn Blood because it's a rainbow when you're in the sun.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it gives you a headache, I'm terribly sorry, but I'm also not sorry because this is their bike. And
sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, it is when you first look at it, it may give you a slight migraine, but overall, I think that's one of the points of the frame itself that makes it so much fun.
Yeah. So I know you've briefly mentioned about the dislikes of the bike.
Yes.
Are there any more that you do not like about the bike, or they're all pretty okay?
scratching the shit out of it. That's my only fear.
Yeah.
I mean, you have like this one of a kind bike in Singapore. There is no person in Singapore that, you know, will help you fix it up if, let's say, something goes wrong. But I did go to One Bike Asia for this bike to assemble it together. And I mean, the services are absolutely phenomenal.
And you got the wheel sets from them and the Hambini BB from them?
Correct. And
Including Groupset?
Groupset as well.
So everything else is from them?
Everything from them except the exposure lights, the saddle, the...
But they also carry exposure lights, right?
They do have.
Yeah.
But I bought the exposure lights from Velo, mid viewpoint. Then, of course, the bottles. I have specialized bottles. I mean, I saw Specialized has this grey keg and a bottle to complete the stealth look. So I mean, this whole bike itself, I forgot to mention is that after watching Top Gun, I wanted something like a stealth bike. So I think it does complete the look itself.
Will you be making any more upgrades to the bike?
I do not think so, other than maybe the head top, maybe changing it to something else.
Okay.
It's just a standard.
Oh, you mean the top cap?
Yeah, the top cap is just standard. So maybe I might be changing that. That's the only thing that left I have to change.
I think deeper rims will look nicer on the frame.
I would too. I mean, like I wouldn't mind having. I've been itching.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at it. But for me, for now, I do like as it is. So because my group when we go for climbing, it actually saves me from having to, you know, not die on climbs.
Yeah.
Which also, speaking of which, I still have to conquer 300. I dread it, Francis. I'm sorry. I'm saying this now because I know you know that I'm dreading that awful climb. But when we do it, I am going to face it like a Spartan. And you know, let me play some Slipknot while I'm cycling out.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I mean,
presentation.
I'm so happy that you actually invite me here.
No, I was so, you know, for people who didn't know, I came across this bike when I was browsing Francis's Instagram and I was like, this is a Ribble? And then Francis, if you guys don't know, I filmed him a while ago. He had the purple SL6 and I asked Francis, could you give me the contact of this guy? He has to be on the show, man. It's a Ribble. So I'm very fortunate and very lucky to have you here. And, thanks so much for doing this with me.
Hey, thank you so much, man. I'm really happy.
Yeah. All right, you're done.
Driving all day, searching all night, can't seem to focus this double sight. This is a tale sworn in a sight.